Hello everyone, this is Glitch, and I'm here to help with some of the traps in Bastet's trial. While I'm far from a pro in DFO, there are some observations I made which I hope you'll find helpful. First, a disclaimer. I want to be clear again, I am not a pro player, nor do I consider myself a particularly skilled player. However, that's kind of the point for these tutorials. Simple instructions that don't require expert gameplay. These will not be the only way to beat the trials. They may not even be the best way to handle them. Ideally, they will be simple and clear and bypass the trial and error. Let's start off with the Treasure Guardian trial. Why? Because this one can easily be the most frustrating of the traps, but it doesn't have to be. So this is the setup. There are 3 Anubis altars surrounded by circles and 3 guardians. Your trial is to use the jewels to purify the altars. This is done by picking it up and, while holding it, standing inside the circle for a certain period of time. Once that happens, the circle disappears and Anubis lights up. Purify all 3 and the guardians will crumble and you get your prize, which is mainly the ability to leave the room and, if still relevant, another part of the map uncovered. The guardians will try to stop you during this. Fortunately, they have a relatively strict pattern. First, they'll all roll at your character in rapid succession. Each one will head to your current location when it begins, so you have to keep moving to avoid all 3. After that, they will all walk towards your character. When they reach you, they will wind up for a short moment and swing at you. Lather, rinse, repeat. Note that the roll seems to be on a pretty strict timer, so if they don't reach you before it goes off, they'll skip the smack and roll again. Some problems. Any hit by the Guardian can make you drop the jewel, which, if you're in the circle at the time, will interrupt and reset the purification. Stepping outside of the circle also resets the purification. Also, from what I can tell, the Guardians can easily cycle through their pattern within the time it takes to purify the altar. If you just immediately run into the circle and stay put after dodging the roll attacks, you will often find yourself hit by a swing attack just before the altar purifies, though sometimes you can get lucky. Relying on that luck can make this trial take a really long time and get very frustrating. So, how to make this rely less on luck? Strategy. What you want to do is to take advantage of the strict pattern of the Guardians. Here's the simplest, least amount of thought strategy. First, pick up the jewel, which will wake up the Guardians. Then, ignore the altars and instead run around, giving yourself some space to move back and forth and wait for them to roll at you. When they do, keep moving so that you can avoid all 3. Remember, each one will target you individually based on when it starts, so avoiding one will not avoid the next ones. Ideally, they will have rolled right past you and crashed into a wall some distance away from you, but we'll take what we can get. Next, run to one of the altars, but put yourself toward the edge of the circle closest to the Guardians. When they approach, they will stop and wind up. When they do that, or even before then, move to another part of the circle, out of range of their swing, but do not leave the circle. Keep moving around inside the circle so they can't reach you. It can take a bit to get the timing and placement right, but if you manage it, you should have just enough time to purify the altar before they decide to roll at you once again. If you want to get fancy and continue stacking the deck in your favor, pick your target altar in the beginning and plan accordingly. As before, give yourself some space to run out of the way, but also keep enough space behind you so that the Guardians land far enough to give you a head start toward the altar you've targeted. Bonus points for making sure they end up on the other end of the room from the altar as well. In my experience, this is a bit trickier with the middle altar just because it's kinda conveniently close to most of the room, but it's still possible. If you fail, don't get frustrated. Just lather, rinse, and repeat until you succeed. As long as you can relax and keep a clear head, you will get the hang of it, and you will purify those altars. Or don't relax. That's really up to you. I won't judge. Point is, eventually, this once particularly frustrating trap will get routine. Now, get those event epics. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more gaming shenanigans and follow my Twitch channel, Glitchontwitch, all one word, for the silliness in real time.